okay, if I do all these things and I treat life like a math equation, then I can feel safe to assume that I'm going to have the future I want. Here's the trouble with that. Hi friends, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel. I can't wait to talk about perfectionism today. Isn't that like the most ubiquitous thing I love that word, by the way, ubiquitous, in dance? Especially, okay, I come from the ballet world, as a lot of you know. It is so common amongst ballet dancers. So I want to share with you 5 surprising causes of perfectionism so you can start to understand some of the common underlying forces of what causes people to have this mentality, to manifest certain behaviors like constant self-criticism, hustling, overworking themselves, never feeling good enough, so on and so forth. So, because a lot of you know what happens when you are perfectionistic or have those tendencies, but not a lot of us know what's really going on beneath the surface that's causing us to feel that way. So then we tend to have a very simplistic way of looking at it, like, I am a perfectionist. Okay, if any of my clients are watching, which I know a lot of my clients watch, you know how passionate I am about not making your struggle your identity. The way you identify yourself has such an influence over the way you think, the way you feel, the way you act, the results you get, and it just feeds into this whole self-fulfilling prophecy where you believe you're a perfectionist, so then it keeps you stuck in acting like a perfectionist, so you believe that you are one. It just keeps you stuck. So the first surprising cause of perfectionism is the desire for control in order to feel safe and secure. So really it's you desire to feel safe and secure, and that's why you want to be perfect. And in order to be perfect, you have to be in control. And it's really that sense of control that you gain from the perfectionism that helps you to feel like, okay, I'm okay. It's like this sense of safety and security that so many of us long for that makes us think, okay, if I'm just perfect, I won't be scared anymore. If I'm just perfect, then I won't be so anxious about my future. If I'm just perfect, then I won't doubt myself, or I won't feel not good enough or insecure. Whatever the unpleasant thoughts or experiences or emotions are that are underneath the perfectionism, we tend to want safety and security from those things. We want to be safe from those unpleasant experiences, or even bigger ones, like you want to feel secure and safe, like I'm perfect so I don't have to worry about failing one day. A lot of times we're trying to avoid or get reprieve from the fear that we feel. And so we want to be in control and we want to be perfect so that we're like, okay, my world is safe, I'm good. Hope that makes sense. And what perfectionism is really about is trying to be perfect to avoid unpleasant experiences a lot of times. A lot of people who identify as perfectionists, sometimes there is this positive side to it where maybe you identify with having a type A personality, you like to be excellent. A value for excellence and a deep desire for that is a great thing. It can be an absolutely great thing. The thing is, having a desire and a value for excellence or achievement or precision, beauty, whatever it is totally fine, but perfectionism turns it into an ultimate thing where it's like, I can't mess up. I don't want to feel negative things. I don't want to go through negative experiences. So instead of just being like, I value excellence and experiencing that most of the time is cool enough for me, it's like, I want to be perfect. I want to be great all the time. It's really about an avoidance of negative experiences and emotions. And so since we desire to be safe from these unpleasant experiences and emotions, we go towards wanting to be in control and perfectionism. So the perfectionism is really a coping mechanism. It's really what we would call a self-protective behavior, because the perfectionism helps in your mind, in your mind strategy here. It's like the strategy is, if I'm perfect, if I do these perfectionist behaviors, and if I'm just in control and perfect, then I'll be safe from these things that I don't want. So that's why we call it a self-protective behavior, because you're trying to do this behavior to protect yourself from perceived threats. The next surprising underlying cause of perfectionism is also the desire for comfort and certainty in seeing that the world is black and white, particularly around our future. I'll get into that more in the next point, but a lot of us want certainty. Like, we want to feel certain that before we put ourselves out there, stand in the front row, take a risk, be seen, we want to feel certain that we can do the step. We want to feel certain that we're going to be good at it. But the problem with this, and why perfectionism seems like a great idea because it'll make you work harder or whatever, it actually is a bad idea because it ends up working against you. In the example of wanting to be perfect and wanting to be sure that you're going to do a good job before you're seen in some way, it causes you to be probably in your head stressed about what if I make a mistake, and that causes you to not be present with the choreography. You're probably very fixated on what if I mess up, or what if they see me not doing a very good job and think that I'm not good enough, and that causes your focus to go towards everything that doesn't serve you, like the potential mistake or what will someone else think. And when you're focusing on that, what are you not focusing on? What you're doing and what you can do in each moment to dance beautifully. So that's why this desire for certainty and to see things as black and white, like wanting to be a good dancer, not a bad dancer, that's such a dualistic way of thinking. We want to be good and to be certain and to be in control, like I said, and that gives us a sense of comfort because it's all about comfort, avoidance of negative consequences, and that desire for comfort and safety. So it kind of ties in again with point one. But yeah, there's a big desire for certainty, and that gives us comfort. But the desire for certainty where we cannot have it is something that's going to cause you a lot of suffering and a lot of trouble because nothing is really certain. Like, if you think about it, anything could happen, you know? And I don't mean to say that to incite more fear, but I like to reframe uncertainty as possibility. And think of it this way. This is something that really helps with that desire for control and certainty. There tends to be a fear of uncertainty. And so what can help us is, instead of seeing uncertainty as a bad thing, see it as possibility. Uncertainty tends to come with this assumption that it is good to know everything. You need to know, and that keeps you safe. And also there's this assumption that bad things might happen if you don't know what's going to happen. You know, bad things happen in the realm of the unknown. But when we use the word possibility, it helps to remind us that also good things happen in the realm of the unknown. Good things come your way without your conscious effort all the time. Good things are available to you without you being in control of everything. Good things have happened to you in your life. Like, think of how in all your life, you didn't actually know what was going to happen for sure in the next moment, but you've gotten here, you're okay, you're here, right? You're watching this video. So see how your life up until this point hasn't required that you know everything and see the future and you're totally in control and perfect and all this stuff to get here. Maybe you don't love your current reality, but you're still okay. And so I think that can be a really comforting reminder. The third point is that a force beneath perfectionism is this not only fear of the unknown, like I was talking about, but since you fear the unknown, there's typically also a fixation on the future. Like, if I don't do XYZ and I'm not perfect, then bad things might happen in my future. So there's a future focus and a focus on how you need to be perfect to avoid bad things from happening. So there's a focus on bad things happening. So desiring to be in control and perfect so that those things don't happen. And in that perfectionism, the behavior of perfectionism, like trying to make yourself perfect, what we're looking for is we're trying to create a guarantee. Like, okay, if I do all these things and I treat life like a math equation, then I can feel safe to assume that I'm going to have the future I want. Here's the trouble with that. I know these are hard truths for someone who might be experiencing a lot of fear, and the fear of the unknown, the fear of losing control. It's something that's very hard to acknowledge some of these truths when you're in that, and I totally get that because I've definitely been this way before. When we're trying to look for a guaranteed future, it's typically because we're in a lot of fear. And maybe you're feeling fear because you've gone through a really hard time recently. And I really want to bring a lot of awareness and compassion to that right now and like really send you some love because, hey, I really get it. I really do. Like, I've felt this personally on a very deep level. I've gone through times where I've had a very healthy relationship, I'd say, with the unknown. I've been able to feel safe enough in my life to feel present. And then some hard things happen in my life that kind of shook my sense of safety in life. And that's where therapy or getting support is so helpful, because sometimes our nervous system, if we've especially been through trauma or been exposed to it secondhand, we can start to develop these beliefs, and our nervous system can start to absorb this sense that it needs to be on edge all the time. It needs to be hyper vigilant, very aware. You need to like be as perfect as you can be because you don't feel safe in the world. So there's also a trauma component to that. I really want to acknowledge it because sometimes we've just been through really hard things, and it takes some attention and care and time to heal that, so you can start to feel safe to embrace the unknown again. It feels safe to relax and be in the present moment. It feels safe enough to trust that what you can give is good enough, that you're going to be okay, that things are generally going to work out. Sometimes we need to go through a healing process to feel safe enough to repair our relationship with the unknown and stop focusing so much on future potential threats and more in on the present moment. The next cause of perfectionism I've seen a lot is a fear of vulnerability. This sense that you don't want to be seen in your process. You don't want to be seen imperfect, maybe making a mistake or not quite there with a step or a piece that you're rehearsing. We want to always be showing other people our final product. We always want to be good and make sure everyone else likes us and has a good opinion. And this attachment to a certain image that other people see, it's exhausting to keep up, isn't it? It's really exhausting. And I'm saying this as a friend to you here because I'm making this video also because like I've totally struggled with this at several points in my life. Like, it comes and it goes depending on what's going on, and it's okay if it comes and it goes, because sometimes when it comes up there's just another layer of healing that you're being invited into, and that's all okay. But yeah, sometimes, especially in the dance world, our art is really about creating beautiful images, and we want to put the best possible image out. We want to give people the best experience as they watch us and all this stuff. So sometimes it can give us this idea that being vulnerable, like showing yourself as you are right now, being more raw, that's bad. And then also a lot of us have had experiences in our training. Maybe we've had teachers who yell at us all the time anytime we make one little mistake. And that very much trains our subconscious mind to be like, you cannot ever mess up, because when you do, people get mad at you and you get humiliated and yelled at. That definitely trains your mind to be like, oh, you have to be perfect to avoid getting chastised. And so yeah, that can definitely train us to believe that vulnerability is a bad thing. And we wouldn't probably word it that way in our minds. Like, we don't typically sit around and think, I don't want to be vulnerable today. Maybe you do, maybe you do. But a lot of clients I work with, it's like they just don't want other people to see them messing up and to think, oh, what are they thinking now? Do they not like me? Do they think I'm a bad dancer? Are they going to take opportunities away from me? Am I going to get fired? All those are very real in the dance world. And so I can totally get where this is coming from. But the value of this point is really to recognize that people are going to see you anyway. So why not lean into vulnerability as the way? You know, the more that you accept that people are going to see you as you are, no matter how hard you try, it gives you permission to be more as you are. You know, that teacher can yell at you all they want. You're still a human who's going to make mistakes sometimes. That's what I wish I knew. And so leaning into vulnerability as like, you know, I'm going to let myself be seen in process, because it just helps me to accept that growth is a process and to not get so stuck on getting mad at myself or critical or whatever, which is only going to slow down my process and make it hard and tough emotionally. It's going to drain the fun out of it. Why not give yourself the gift of seeing vulnerability as a good thing? Like, you know what? If people are going to see me as I am, I want them to see me also embracing myself as I am. That is such a beautiful thing to see in another person. I can almost guarantee you. Look at the people that you are drawn towards socially and also drawn towards their dancing, but especially think of the people that you just want to be around socially and you think they're so cool. You probably are drawn to them because they have a level of comfort within themselves, self-acceptance and appreciation, self-love for where they're at, and they're so embracing of that. That is such an attractive energy. I mean, really, observe who you want to be around and who you're drawn towards. They usually have that quality, and that's something that you can tap into as well. Maybe it's new and unfamiliar for you, but you can give yourself permission to start to practice that. It's a practice. Choosing to allow yourself to be seen as you are, it doesn't mean that you'll make more mistakes or that you'll stop caring about excellence. It just means you remove resistance from what is already happening. Resistance meaning being so mad at yourself for making a mistake. Okay, the mistake it already happened. It will happen again. It's already happening because you're a person. So why not allow yourself to remove the resistance from that and just be like, okay, next. Okay, what am I going to do about it? Your life is going to get so much easier. The last surprising cause of perfectionism is that it can also sometimes be a strategy we learn to make ourselves work harder. Even if you don't acknowledge this consciously, sometimes the perfectionistic behaviors are really things that we learned as keys to success, being a successful dancer. And so what this can look like is we can learn that, if we're just really hard on ourselves, if we just work really, 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 really hard, if we just expect the absolute best and most out of ourselves all the time, then that's what you should do in order to be a successful dancer or to get what you want in your dance journey. Sometimes it's a strategy we learn to make ourselves work harder and to help ourselves also get what we want. And that's okay, because you can identify it and decide what new strategy you'd like to use going forward. Even self-criticism and beating ourselves up for making mistakes, it's something that sometimes we have learned to do because it's a strategy we've learned to make ourselves have negative emotions so that we work harder, so that we don't stay as we are. Maybe that's a strategy you've learned. And that's okay, because you can change that. But the first step is identifying it, acknowledging it, and then you can choose what new way you want to operate in going forward. And I will add that a lot of times that strategy of like, okay, be perfectionistic so that you work hard, you expect the most out of yourself. A lot of times that's very fear-based as well. We do that because we feel like if we don't, if we start to be soft and like nice to ourselves, then we'll get lazy and we won't improve and we'll become delusional about our abilities and then we will fail. I've heard some version of that narrative so many times in my work as a coach. I also used to have some version of that narrative myself. Yeah, I just wanted to call that out because maybe it's something that you're like, ooh, I totally do that. And then you can ask yourself, okay, is that working for me? Do I want to change it? You can. And speaking of changing this pattern and all the ones that I've mentioned, if you really want support, targeted support designed for dancers to help you overcome perfectionism and learn practical strategies to keep it at bay, because like I said, these things, they come and they go. We can have a tendency towards perfectionism. By resolving it, I don't mean you'll be perfect forever, but if perfectionism has really been causing you to overwork yourself and get burnt out, never feel good enough, always criticize yourself, be in your head, feel like nothing you do is good enough, whatever it is, however it affects you, if you don't want to feel that anymore, know that support is available in the Confident Dancer Coaching Program. I work with dancers all the time who want to have tools and support to release the perfectionism that's been causing them all of those experiences I just talked about and holding them back from dancing to their fullest potential. So that support is available to you too. If that's something you'd like, then click the link below, visit my website, theconfidentdancer.com. You can learn more about the Confident Dancer Coaching Program and sign up for a free 30-minute consultation where you and I can talk and discuss if moving forward with the program and enrolling would be a great fit for you personally. So yeah, it's seriously a no strings attached consultation, so it's truly no risk to you. I'd love to connect with you, especially if you're very tired of perfectionism stealing your joy in dance. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.